Man, I am so sorry, guys. I don't know what kind of host content creator I am. Because I did not talk about values with you. From the 1940s movie theater banknote hoard that I acquired came in today. So we are going to research. We're going to research these notes. They are going to get sent off to PMG probably here in the next 2 weeks or so. PMG is a currency grading company. They are a part of NGC grading for coins. And they are my preferred choice because PCGS currency had recently went through a change a few years ago. I still haven't used them. And there's really not a whole lot out in the marketplace with the PCGS currency name, the new revised name that's actually ran by PCGS. Whereas the outgoing PCGS grading company for currency was ran by Mr. Bradford, and he left and dissolved that. The rights ended up going back to PCGS, and Mr. Bradford opened up his own grading company for currency. And I haven't used it, haven't done anything. I haven't seen any of their graded slab notes online yet. I haven't actively looked. I've been doing more coins lately. But first order of business, if you're going to get into trying to identify how much something is, you need to know what you have, right? So the notes that we looked at, these things right here, these are $10 Federal Reserve notes. They have a series date of 1934A. So it's a variant of the 1934 series. 34A, that's what we have here. I used some sort of catalog or price guide book to determine what the catalog number is for these notes. Keep in mind, these are consecutive bills. There's 17 of them. And 3 of the notes have been replaced by star notes. I paid just under $1,000 for the group, which is just fine. I think I'm gonna end up keeping this in my collection. I'm really not interested in selling them at all. So I know there was probably 1 or 2 people. One guy actually emailed me after I did the video and wanted to buy one of the notes just to have in our collection, and I'm going to retain this as a consecutive set. So we're going to check out a couple things. We're going to check out how much the regular non-star notes are going to be of this type. These are, again, I looked in the book, these are Freeberg 2006Ds. Okay, so that's going to help us actually find the note in some sort of auction database. And the best one I think to use is Heritage Auctions. I thought about Great Collections, but Heritage has a much deeper archive for currency sales. And it goes back many years, probably nearly 2 decades at this point. So it's just natural that we look at that. And because they sell so much more currency all the time, plus they have these big currency auctions as well, you're going to get the best representation of what the prices are going to be for something like this. So we'll probably end up taking a look at both raw and graded sets of either singular notes or consecutive series. I had already pre-looked, and we have enough of a base to go off of. But we're on Heritage Auctions website. I'm already signed in. I just bought a coin from them the other day, as a matter of fact. So we're going to go under departments that you see here. We're going to go to coins, currency, and stamps, and then U.S. currency. So as long as we get into the specific section on Heritage's website, we're golden. So if we look just here at this one of the top banners where it says Browse, you have all auctions, which means those are current listings that are either live or in preview status, which means they're not quite live. You can't bid on them yet. But they're not sold. All right. So those are notes and all that's selling here either in the next week, 2 weeks, month. like the Long Beach sale that you saw flash by for a second. And this one here, the Michael Talent collection. These are all, future auctions. So we're going to actually go to all sold, and we're going to start there. So we know the Freeberg number. It's always good to just kind of drill down first before you actually start typing in exactly what you have. It makes it easy. So these are Federal Reserve notes. Okay, they're not Federal Reserve bank notes. They're like two different things. Federal Reserve notes are like standard currency that you see today. That goes all the way back to 1928, and even sooner than that, but in large note form. But the first small notes were 1928 series. We're going to go ahead and click in Fed Reserve notes. So since we have a Freeberg number, we'll just go ahead and type that in. So it's abbreviated FR dot and then 2006, and then we'll just do a D. And that should pull up all of the regular $10 bill 34As in addition to all the stars. Maybe. I might have to type in an asterisk next to the D there. And that'll designate stars for that. So it's actually already scrubbed by most recent sales. If we were to take a look at the contents of the notes that I have, there's 17 notes altogether, 14 in which are Freeberg 2006Ds, non-star, and then we have the 3 star notes. So we got to make sure that I'm going to make a few bucks if I elected to sell these in the future. All right. And I intend on grading these. Keep in mind there's about a 10 to 20% premium on consecutive runs. So the longer the run, and you'll see that there's consecutive like 2 notes, and that's only 2 notes. But this is 17. This is a whole set right here of 17 notes, along with the replacement stars that are currently in there. So you're definitely going to see a substantial premium for a consecutive set if they're all graded, sold as one listing, which if that were going to be that moment where I decide, you know what, it's time for this to go, we're going to send it to auction, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to sell it as a set because that's how I received it from the sale. So there's that there. So the first one right here, this is exactly the note I have, but one singular piece. Keep in mind the grade. I think based off of what I'm seeing here, most of them are going to grade somewhere in that 65, 66 EPQ. They are going to PMG. This one's a 66. And the prices, they're relatively tight from 64 EPQ all the way up to about 66. Let's say my average grade is a 64. Then the notes will probably end up being worth about $80 a piece. And that's for the regular non-stars. And there's 14 of them. So automatically we're up over $1,000. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and do a quick little... let's see, $80 a note times 14, and that's $1,120, and that's before we get to the star notes. But we're really just basing it off like the very first couple listings, and these are the most recent. This is like current market value for these notes. So you're going to see a huge difference between graded examples, where right here we have a pair consecutive set. You already see the premium from that first note that sold for $104 to the second listing that sold a week earlier for $312 for 2 notes, which makes it about $156 per note. So a very substantial increase just because it's a consecutive set for serial numbers. And they're both graded the same, 66. So because of that, there is that premium on there. Here's a couple sets of raw notes. Heritage is selling them raw for a reason, in that, there may be something about the notes that isn't worth selling. So here's a lot of 4 that sold for right around $100, $25 a piece. which if I went and sold these right now raw, I'd probably get about 25, 30 bucks a piece, but we're not going to do that. You make more money when you sell them graded. Here's another one here, Choice Crisp Uncirculated. This is a lot of, and by the way, these are not consecutive sets. They're just 4 1934A's 2006 D Freeberg catalogs. Sorry, I'm belching a little bit. Oh man, nobody ever said I was like, the nicest guy on YouTube. But we have a number of lots that are non-consecutive. It's just a random lot of 34s that have been put together. Like this lot here of 6 notes are all crisp unk. But you have Freeberg 2004 Gs, which are just standard 34 light green seals. And then you have a number of 2006D Freebergs. So it's kind of like a mishmash lot that's sold for 200 bucks. And that's for 6 notes. So we're looking at about over 30 bucks a piece. Here's another one here. Again, non-consecutive, Gem Crisp Uncirculated for 288 bucks. So there's that one there. I mean, in hindsight, you could possibly buy a lot like this and get them graded. You know, you spend about 25, 30 bucks per note to grade it through PMG. And you could probably make about, let's say if you bought this lot here for 288 and there's 7 notes, which is 40 bucks a piece, you grade them, they're gem. So that means they'll grade out somewhere like 65 to 66. You could sell them each for about 80 to 100 bucks and do really, really well on it. You know, so you could easily, after grading fees, make about 200 bucks on that. Which you can do if you bought a whole bunch of these large lots and you submitted all the notes to PMG in quantity. Number one, you could probably get a bulk discount for your grading submission, or you're just going to send them all, get them all back, and then sell them and then make a boatload of money. But having the kind of like the capital to recycle constantly, because it takes time to grade these. It could take anywhere from 30 to 60 days to get your notes back. You know, so you have to take into consideration the lead time that it takes to turn around an actual grading submission. But we're going to skip through all the miscellaneous lots. Here's another one here. This one was in 2019, so this is before the little mini boom, the pandemic boom is what I like to call it, of collectibles. That same note that we saw sell earlier on for, was it $108, sold for $75. Same grade, same everything. This one is an EPQ, however. The other one is not. 104, sorry. So non-EPQ, and yeah, they could gem grade it. You know, it might just be slightly off center, you know, like a number of mine are. And, you know, that's what's going to be the difference maker in the actual, you know, grade of the things. Here's another one right here. These are problem notes. They got apparent designations, which means they probably have like pinholes or rust or, you know, tears and things like that. Here's a 64 EPQ of the same note for $37. Again, this is 2018. Their currency was kind of at its low point then. But you guys get the big picture. Those are 34A 2006 Freebergs. Let's see if we could find some stars. If I typed in an asterisk, let's see if this will pop up here. No, it doesn't. Let's see if we could type in, because I don't recall if $10 1934A star, because they do type out star in the listing, and this might be the ticket. So quite a few of them. It's not a particularly rare note. It's not. But these carry a really good amount of value. Here's the first one right here that sold a few weeks ago, September 19th, in the amount of $264. All right, so, and this is a 63 EPQ, which I think one of them will probably end up grading this. As you can see, it's off center. I don't know if you guys can see that. This looks like actually one of my notes, one of my stars that's slightly off center. It's actually like a spitting image. No, not that one. That one actually looks gorgeous. And you guys would do the same thing, you know, whether it's coins, currency, or any type of collectible. You do the research. You know, if you have the raw collectibles and you want to grade them, definitely do the research. And that's how you're going to make money and be able to vet into buying more collectibles. And just, you know, you could really make a really good living from it, but you need to know how to research all this stuff. So this one right here is slightly off center. It's not like, sorry, I got the light ring kind of obscuring it. It's not like the note that you see on screen. As a matter of fact, I think every single star I have is probably good enough to grade 64, 65, if not a little bit better. But that $264 for a star, again, it's not rare, but people like the high-graded examples. Now, here's one here that's sold on the same day. It's a grade point higher. 2006 I, which I believe that's just a different district. It is. It's Minneapolis. See the little letter I in the district seal? The black seal that's on the left side there. $432 for a 65 EPQ, so exceptional paper quality. Here's a Minneapolis star mule, so it's got the macro micro plate number variances on there. So that one, of course, it sells for whatever it sells for. $552 for a Choice AU 58. The grading schematic is very similar to coins, but they use like paper terminology, gem crisp, like crispy paper. And let's see, here's a 66, 2006B. This one is a New York. Sold for $780 right there. Let's see if we could find another 2006D. So we're going back to 2020. So this is pre-pandemic values. Here's one right here. Oh my goodness. 2006D star. So that I have 3 of these. They're all pretty well centered, with the exception of maybe that last one. It's slightly misaligned to the right. Yeah, slightly misaligned to the right. And top to bottom as well. So that one might be at 64. The 66 EPQ, $810. Sold in 2019. Can you imagine how much this would sell for today? It would probably be pretty similar grade-wise for 2 of them because they're just lights out condition. I mean, honestly, I look at the 3 star notes I have, and I think it'll grade... The first one will grade 66, the second one will grade 64, the third one will grade 65. Now, whether or not it gets the EPQ remains to be seen. I know one of them, the 66, will get an EPQ because it's dead set, hammered, right in the middle, perfect margins, crispy, has no flaws, nothing like that. That one is going to be my gauntlet note out of this. And like I said, we were already about $1,100 on just the regular notes if we don't take into consideration the consecutive serial number premium that's associated with this. Here's another one here. 65 EPQ, that's $600. So let's say, for argument's sake, the 3 star notes, they come back, whatever grade they come back, and I end up on the conservative side, making $1,500 on the 3 notes. Now, again, if I intend on selling this set, it's a end up being sold as a set, and I'm not going to piece it out. Some of you probably think that's crazy, but you know, the whole appeal and the premium of the consecutive set of these notes is worth a whole heck of a lot more than selling them individually. I mean, I could honestly see this collection graded possibly selling for about 3 to 4 times what I initially paid for it, which is pretty good. But there you go. Those are star note prices. Again, the different districts are valued differently. It really depends on the actual production run of those star notes. And the price guide books, even though this one's like 12 years old, they'll help kind of paint a picture as far as which one is more rare than the others, because you'll see the prices are a little bit higher. Sometimes there's just less of them in the census, because when the BEP prints the star notes, they print them in a completely separate batch. It's a completely different run. And as they go through and they cut these subject sheets down and they batch up together the notes, you know, the quality control people will go through them. They generally do a decent job pulling out all the errors, all the damage notes, and then they slip a star note in there. And the serial number is not going to match. It never does. Because they take it from this batch, they add it to here, and complete the strap, and that's it. So that's pricing for the singular note. So before I let you guys go, we're also going to take a look at consecutive. Consecutive, if we just type that into Federal Reserve notes, that'll pop up here. Quite a few listings. So there have been a number of consecutive notes that have sold. The real question is, can we find exactly this series? And for us to make that happen, let's try typing in the Freeberg. And we'll actually put a dash because that's how they have it in the listings. So 10 listings only for consecutive series. Let's see if they have one as high as 17. I doubt it. This is not consecutive. That's the one we just looked at. That sold for $288. Non-consecutive. Here's a lot of 6 consecutive 10s. Choice Crisp Unk that sold last year, 2020. Yeah, that one right there sold for $138. That's a steal of a deal. That's how much raw notes would go for. So it was just what, $22 a piece, somewhere around there, 23. That's 13 examples, non-consecutive. Here is a lot of 6 consecutive. That sold back in 2009 for $115. 2006 -D, $10 1934 A's. That's the most recent example, realistically, that we've seen. Except maybe this one here, too. Federal Reserve notes, 6. So we've seen as high as 6, and that's it. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. 7 examples, and this is October of last year. This listing is a year old already. Yeah, it's consecutive. 61, 62, 63, 4, 5, 6, and oh, the last note is not consecutive. It's 73. So 6 of them being consecutive, 1 not, and it sold for $288. So $40 a note, which is pretty solid for raw. But anyways, that's how you research these puppies. And you do the same for coins. You do it for sports cards. You do it for video games, comic books. You do the same thing. You go to your auction site of choice. Heritage just has a better presentation of its archives. And they've sold so many things over the years that they just are kind of like my go-to source for a lot of like completed sales. Especially for higher premium stuff. And again, if you guys are serious about making money in the business, this is stuff people do. This is the kind of practices that folks like me and people like on my live coin Q&A panel, we are constantly researching notes. We are constantly researching coins and every sort of other collectibles, because this is how we can make a living. You know, if any of you out there have like $2,000 to $5,000 to put into doing something like this, where you're buying raw inventory and you're turning around and you're grading them, you're getting the notes back, or in a much easier, simpler sense, you could theoretically send the raw product to the consignment services, these auction houses, and they'll do all the legwork for you. All you have to do is sit there and collect the check. Where if you have a premium item, you're gonna want to use a big auction house anyways. If you're kind of like quick to get your money back, you have no patience whatsoever, then you probably shouldn't be doing this. Okay, there's going to be other things that you could flip on a short-term basis, but keep in mind, it's like you're not going to make the level of money, you know, the expectation level, the opportunity, the possibilities. This is a very smart way of doing things outside the box, so that way it kind of gets you away from your daily 9 to 5 grind. That makes sense, right, guys? But that's going to go ahead and do it. Hopefully you guys were able to read into this a little bit good. My voice is clear. I've been having microphone issues lately. But it was a lot of fun. This collection is a lot of fun. The next step in this collection is putting the submission form all together to send to PMG. I will show that on video for you guys as well, to show you what that looks like. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this Friday night. It was a pleasure seeing you guys twice in one evening. Again, I am absolutely tickled pink about this collection. This was so close to going to the bank. You guys have no idea. The original owner of these notes was on her way to the bank to deposit these. And thank you, Adam. He actually came in and intercepted him, like, hey, I know a guy that knows currency. Let's go ahead and talk to him. And she did not realize that I'd be giving her an offer within like 15 minutes of seeing the notes. So, you know, a lot better than just cashing in for $170 is what the face value is of this lot. But that's going to go ahead and do it. Research the possibilities. Have fun in the hobby. It's a hobby, number one, and it can be a business, number two. If you think clearly, if you do things right, you don't shortcut things, because a lot of people, their instant gratification is, I want to realize this like yesterday. And you can't be doing that with this type of industry. You just can't. Things take time. The grading process takes time. If it takes like 60 days, it is what it is. You know, you just have to chalk it up. That's part of the process. You have that one submission out, you're pounding the pavement to look for another collection. You get that in, and you do whatever you need to do with it to process it and move it. You take the emotional aspect out of this business, and you guys will do really good. Really good. But yeah, wow, that's it, guys. If you enjoyed today's content, make sure you hit the like button, share the video if you'd like, and please do subscribe if you haven't done so already. I would say a vast majority of my viewers aren't subscribed to my channel, but we talk about great stuff like this. And then we're going to have lots of giveaways for the holidays on the live coin Q&A channel. Come join us. We're giving away microscopes, jeweler's loops, books, albums. If you need supplies, we are going to be your opportunity to get this stuff free, baby. Because that's what we want to do. We want to be able to give back to the community, number one. Number two, education and having access to some of the things that maybe you guys don't have nearby is important as well. So thank you guys for your time. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. You guys have a fantastic evening. Have fun this weekend. PCMR coming tomorrow. And I'll see you on the next coin video. Take care.